Okay, let's dive right into this explainer and decode the hidden psychology behind a habit you've probably experienced but never truly understood. Welcome to The Cost of Depth, Decoding the Reflective Mind. If you're someone who spends, well, a whole lot of time living inside your own head, constantly questioning your interactions long after they happen, I promise you, what we're about to uncover is going to be incredibly validating. It's time to completely rethink what it means to be a deep processor in a super fast-paced world.
So picture this. You're lying in bed, right? Completely exhausted from a really long day. It's 2 a.m., your body is totally drained, but your brain is wide awake. And what's it doing? It's replaying a completely random conversation you had on Tuesday, 3 days ago. You literally find yourself thinking about exactly what you should have said, or maybe you're analyzing a tiny facial expression the other person made, or just lying there wondering if your tone was kind of weird when you said goodbye. Sound familiar? That late night mental loop is actually a universal experience for a very specific type of thinker.
Now, most people will tell you that you're just broken or that you've got social anxiety or that you're simply overthinking things way too much. They make it sound like this massive flaw you just have to fix. But what's really interesting here is how psychology reveals a completely different, highly empowering story. Replaying conversations isn't just a random, annoying quirk, and it absolutely doesn't mean something is wrong with you. Actually, it's a massive indicator of a highly active and sensitive mind. Instead of a weakness, this habit points to a profound cognitive strength. Which brings us to section 1, the self-awareness shift. So the crucial point here is that this late-night replay habit points to a very specific mental trait known as strong self-monitoring. Basically, this is the natural tendency to reflect on your own behavior so you can better understand yourself and evaluate exactly how you come across to others. You don't just talk and move on. You possess this hyperactive self-awareness that practically forces your brain to audit its own social performance. It's kind of like having an internal movie director who wants every single scene to be perfectly communicated. That replay loop? It's simply your brain conducting a highly detailed internal performance review. Let's move on to section 2, decoding unspoken social cues. While a normal person just hears the spoken words and moves on, your brain is doing something entirely different. During these interactions, you aren't just listening, you're absorbing an entire environment. Your brain is busy processing massive amounts of extra data. We're talking subtle shifts in tone, tiny facial expressions, microscopic changes in body language. People who constantly replay interactions have a remarkably high sensitivity to all these little social cues. So your brain actively stores these unspoken details for later analysis, literally uncovering crucial meanings you might have totally missed in the fast-paced reality of the moment. And this logically leads us to section 3, processing complex emotional data. If you feel emotions deeply, your mind handles them in a very specific way. Your brain actively treats social interactions as highly important emotional data. Replaying conversations is actually your mind's built-in way of processing this complex emotional information. Instead of just brushing off difficult moments or, ignoring the underlying tension in a room, your mind revisits these events to make sense of what you felt and exactly why you felt it. Because your brain logs this as critical data, you end up storing emotionally meaningful moments incredibly vividly, which creates this amazingly rich inner emotional life.
Now for section 4, a hidden growth mindset.
It is incredibly easy to confuse this deep emotional processing with simple regret and rumination. And yeah, it's true. Replaying the past can sometimes feel like you're just stuck in this endless loop of uncertainty, dwelling on your mistakes. But more often than not, this habit actually points to a growth mindset that is focused heavily on learning. The difference here is profound. You're reviewing what could have been handled differently because you have a deep, intrinsic desire to communicate better next time. You aren't just punishing yourself, you are actively preparing yourself.
Think of it this way. Your brain is essentially running a highly logical step-by-step practice simulation. Step 1, it reviews the past interaction to gather the facts. Step 2, it runs a practice simulation right there in your head to test alternative responses and different outcomes. And finally, Step 3, it applies that data to improve your future communication. You're actively upgrading your own skills. You're striving to be clearer, more precise, and far more empathetic the very next time you speak. This is literally a highly advanced cognitive strategy, just cleverly disguised as an annoying bedtime habit.
Tying this all together, we arrive at section 5, the cost of depth. Ultimately, these traits reveal a mind built for continuous processing. Your mind rarely slows down. And this constant mental activity, where your thoughts just keep moving, connecting, and analyzing long after a conversation ends, is a massive indicator of higher cognitive function. It means your brain continues to analyze and synthesize behind the scenes. This relentless drive to understand the world deeply is a trait that is strongly linked to both high intelligence and high creativity. Your brain is just working overtime because, well, it has the raw horsepower to do so.
When we separate the myth from the reality, the truth becomes perfectly clear. You are not an anxious overthinker. You actually have a highly intelligent mind. You aren't just engaging in surface-level hearing, you're doing deep, complex data processing. And this isn't some pointless rumination. It is an active practice simulation. You possess a really rare combination of high self-awareness, deep emotional intelligence, and a fast-moving mind. The reality absolutely proves you are not broken. You are simply operating on a much deeper level than most folks. So, if you take away absolutely anything from this explainer today, let it be this highly validating realization about your unique mental strengths. Your habit is simply the cost of depth. You are paying a psychological toll for having a deeply reflective, sensitive, and highly capable mind. The sleepless nights and those endlessly replayed conversations, they are not signs of failure. It's a feature, not a bug. It is literally the price of entry for navigating the world with such profound awareness. As we wrap things up today, I want to leave you with this question to ponder the very next time you find yourself staring at the ceiling, analyzing that conversation from last Tuesday. What other hidden strengths is your overactive mind concealing? Once you stop judging your quirks and start decoding the psychology behind them, you can finally turn your unique mind into your absolute greatest asset. Keep learning, keep reflecting, and I'll catch you in the next one.